sweet like a buttercup. You're a Barbie doll. Show them all what I'm made of. Strut down the hall. Won't stop till I get enough.
All right, so let's break down this huge Champions League win for Arsenal. 7-1. They absolutely demolished PSV Eindhoven.
That's one, wow.
We're doing a deep dive today into the match report from Arsenal.com, and they've got all the details you could want. It's got stats, play-by-play, and even a bit of historical context. It's really...
I love that they put that in there. That's awesome.
Yeah, no, it's great.
Really adds to it.
Imagine, like, being there in Eindhoven, seeing Arsenal get their biggest away win ever in the Champions League history.
Unbelievable.
Right? So let's figure out how it all went down.
Well, one thing that really jumps out at me from the match report is how Arsenal controlled the game right from kickoff. I mean, they were all over PSV.
Yeah.
It wasn't just about the goals. It was about dominating possession and just really like suffocating PSV.
Yeah, and I was like super nervous at the beginning because, you know, PSV Saibari almost scored. He hit the bar just minutes in.
Oh, I know, right?
Like, talk about a what-if moment. Like, if that goes
It totally changes the game.
Yeah, the whole match could have gone a completely different way.
Oh, absolutely.
Mm.
I mean, that's those early chances and near misses. You know, they can really set the tone for a match.
For sure.
Goal there for PSV,
Yeah.
you know, could flip the script completely.
Right.
But instead, Arsenal, you know, they didn't let it rattle them. They weathered the storm.
Yeah.
And it almost felt like, you know, that near miss, it kind of fueled their fire even more.
Yeah. It's like they dodged a bullet and then bam, 2 goals from these incredibly talented teenagers, Timber and Nwaneri. I mean, not only did they score, they made history that night.
Yeah, that's where it gets really, really interesting. You know, 2 academy graduates who probably been playing together for years now, combining for a goal on a stage like that.
Yeah.
I mean, the report even mentions how rare it is for 2 English teenagers to do this in the Champions League. It really speaks volumes about Arsenal's youth development program, don't you think?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's like a glimpse into the future of the club, the potential these young players have. You don't see that connection very often.
It's special.
Yeah, they're like almost telepathic the way they play together.
Yeah, exactly. And it adds like another layer to the story of this match, right? You've got the veteran players, the experience, and then these young guys coming in, making their mark. It's such a cool mix.
Yeah, and then you have Marino playing striker, adds a 3rd goal with this clinical finish, but things got a little tense just before halftime, right?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
PSV gets a penalty, and suddenly it feels like the momentum's shifting a little bit.
Yeah, and that's where Arteta's tactical genius shines through.
Right.
He subs out Lewis Skelly immediately. Remember, he was already on the yellow card.
Right.
This wasn't just about protecting a young player. This was a calculated risk.
Okay, so break that down for me. What was the risk? What was the potential reward there?
Sure. So the risk was maybe disrupting the flow of the game with a substitution, you know, bringing on a new player. But the reward was huge, potentially avoiding a red card for Lewis Skelly. I mean, that could have really hurt Arsenal for the rest of the match and even future games.
Makes sense.
It was like Arteta was thinking, you know, 5 steps ahead.
So even with this like dominant performance, there were all these subtle but really important decisions being made.
Yeah, really.
Like Arteta was playing chess out there.
Exactly. And, you know, PSV might have thought they were getting back into the match with that penalty.
Yeah.
But Arsenal had other ideas for that second half.
Oh, man, that second half was something else. I mean, Ødegaard and Trossard scoring within minutes of the restart.
It was over right then.
It felt like a knockout punch for sure.
Yeah, the match report even talks about how fast those goals were scored, like 5 away goals faster than any other team in Champions League history. I mean, that's got to be some kind of record, right?
It's insane.
That's not just luck. That's like a tactical masterclass.
So tactically speaking, what does that kind of offensive explosion tell us about Arsenal's game plan? Were they just exploiting PSV's weaknesses, or was it more about Arsenal's own strengths, you know, just shining through?
I think it was a bit of both, to be honest. Yeah. Arteta, he obviously saw some areas where PSV were vulnerable, and he told his players to press high and attack those spaces. But it was also about how confident and fluid Arsenal's attack was. They were playing with so much swagger, and the goals were just a natural result of that.
Yeah, they were on fire. And speaking of swagger, let's talk about Ødegaard. He was pulling all the strings in that match, wasn't he?
He was everywhere.
2 goals and assist. Just amazing vision and control all night.
He was like the conductor of the orchestra, you know, setting the tempo, finding those passes, and even scoring 2 incredible goals himself. That second goal, the one from distance, was just world class.
I've probably watched that replay like 20 times already. It's beautiful.
It's the kind of goal that people will be talking about for years.
And then he sets up Calafiori for the 7th goal. I mean, it was like they were just having fun out there at that point.
That final goal, it cemented their place in history. 7 away goals in a Champions League knockout stage has never been done before. It really shows you the attacking power of this Arsenal team and how brilliant Arteta is as a manager.
It's not just a one-off performance either. The match report mentions that Arsenal are now on a 5-game win streak in the Champions League. They haven't done that since their incredible run to the final back in the 2006 season.
Wow, that's a long time ago.
Oh, right.
That's got to be scary for their opponents, It means they're not just winning, they're dominating. They're playing with this consistency and hunger that's been missing for years.
So with all this momentum, do you think we're looking at a potential return to Champions League glory for Arsenal? Are they finally ready to be back among the elite?
That's the big question, isn't it? I mean, they have the talent, the momentum, and the tactical brilliance, but the Champions League, it's a marathon, not a sprint. There will be challenges, tough opponents, moments of adversity.
For sure, and it starts with that trip to Old Trafford to face Manchester United. That's always a tough game, no matter how well they're playing.
Absolutely. And then they've got the second leg against PSV back at the Emirates. That 7-1 lead feels pretty safe, but you never know. PSV will be looking for revenge, even if a comeback seems impossible.
I wonder how Arteta will approach that second leg. Do you think he rests his key players, tries out different formations, or does he go all out for another big win?
It's a tough call for any manager. I mean, on one hand, you want to protect your players, keep them healthy, but on the other, you want to keep that momentum going, send a message to the rest of Europe.
It's a balancing act for sure, but I think Arteta is the kind of manager who thrives in these situations. He's proven time and time again that he's a master tactician, always thinking ahead.
And for us as fans, we get to enjoy the ride. This Arsenal team is so exciting, unpredictable, and capable of anything. Who knows what the rest of the Champions League season holds, but it's definitely going to be fun to watch.
So what do you think is the most important thing for Arsenal to maintain this run? Is it Arteta's tactical genius, the individual brilliance of players like Ødegaard, or is it something else like team spirit and belief?
That's a really good question. It's probably a mix of all those things, but if I had to pick one, I'd say belief. This Arsenal team, they have this newfound confidence, this swagger that's been missing for years. They believe they can beat anyone, and that's a huge advantage in any competition, especially the Champions League.
I think you're right. Belief is contagious, and it can really carry a team through tough times, and this Arsenal team, they seem to have it in spades. So before we wrap things up, let's think about this historic win, the 5-game win streak, the individual brilliance, the tactical masterclass. It really makes you wonder, are we seeing like a turning point for Arsenal?
It's definitely a message to the rest of Europe. This isn't the Arsenal we've seen in recent years, barely making the top 4, struggling in the Europa League.
Yeah.
This is a team that can take down anyone and look good doing it.
So for you, having watched Arsenal for so long, does this win against PSV feel like a turning point, or is it too early to say?
I think we'll look back at this match as a really important moment no matter what happens from here on out. It shows just how far they've come under Arteta. The change in their mindset, the way they play.
Right.
But a turning point towards Champions League glory. I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah. Well, we've covered a lot today, from those early momentum swings to how brilliant Arteta is tactically to the incredible talent of guys like Ødegaard. And we even saw those young stars like Timber and Nwaneri step up.
And we talked about the historical side of things, comparing this win streak to their run back in 2006. And what this could mean for them going forward.
Yeah, it's been a great deep dive, but like always, there's even more to explore. So if you want to relive every single moment of this historic win, you got to check out the full match report on Arsenal.com.
Definitely worth a read.
It's packed with details and analysis, way more than we could fit into our deep dive.
And as you're reading through it, think about, does this performance show that Arsenal's ambitions in Europe have changed?
Yeah.
Are they finally ready to get back to the top of European football?
It's a great question, and only time will tell. But for now, let's just enjoy this win, appreciate how far they've come, and look forward to what's next for this Arsenal team. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, and until next time, keep the faith and enjoy the beautiful game.